This week you've heard a bit about Tennant Creek's Ninka sculpture lizard tail, and we'll get an extension of that tail in just a moment. Let's just recap. The idea was first pitched by the Gunner ALP's opposition in the run-up to the 2016 election. The new government contracted sculptor Steve Langton to build the two lizards that stand at the southern and northern ends of Tennant Creek. But the project remains unfinished. One lizard is in a shed at the Tennant Creek Showgrounds. Another lizard is on Queensland's Sunshine Coast. From what we understand, sculptor Steve Langton has been given an ultimatum and asked to pick one of two options from the Department of Logistics Infrastructure. Option one piece to be fully completed and installed, and the sculptor keeps the second lizard. Option two, the government takes the lizard in Tennant Creek as is and they decide what they want to do with it, maybe do nothing. Now, this is what Steve Langton said yesterday.
Well, just today I've received a contract from a termination contract from the Department of Infrastructure, which will basically mean I keep one lizard here. I do not want this. I keep one lizard. They give me a termination contract, and they either paint or don't display the lizard that they're taking. Basically, it looks like Tennant Creek's only ever going to get one, and it may not get that one. And if they get it, it'll be painted.
That's the artist and sculptor Steve Langton speaking a few days ago. What about the Mayor of the BRC? Sid Vashist wants both Ninkas completed, and he's not happy with how the standoff has gone.
Brashy, world-class Ninka that me and the council were fortunate enough to actually personally see that's in Tennant Creek. This sculpture, it's going to be absolutely world-class, and it's going to be such a great advantage for people who are actually pulling into Tennant Creek from north or south and pull up and look at this beautiful Welcome to Tennant Creek sign, have a selfie opportunity, look at this sculpture, appreciate it. And this is worth every dollar and the hard work the artist has put in. And what I think is, if the department is planning to actually only have one Ninka and they may or may not use it, it's a taxpayer's money at stake, and we need to know about it.
Yeah, because as you say, from the sounds of it and from the letters we've seen, the Department of Logistics Infrastructure, TC will get one lizard. They might do something with it. So the department says we might finish it, we might paint it, they might choose to mothball it. What sort of outcome is that?
I think it's pretty poor performance for whoever is involved, and the government needs to intervene, and they need to step in and have a solution and the way forward. We need our Ninkas.
We need our Ninkas. BRC Mayor Sid Vashist. What about the CLP? What about the government? Steve Edgington is, of course, CLP member for the Barkly and, of course, a former mayor of the BRC between 2017 and 2020. Steve Edgington, good morning.
Good morning, Brash, and good morning to all the listeners.
Does the town of Tennant Creek deserve two Ninkas?
Oh, of course we do. There's no doubt about it. Of course, this issue with the Ninkas is a long-standing issue, and we've only got to go back to 2016. So we're talking, over 8.5 years now of discussion around entry statements, Ninkas, I should say, as part of those entry statements. So, look, the reality is, Brash, that this is just another Labor mess that we've inherited from the former government, plus an $11 billion debt that goes with it. So, look, there's a lot of issues to work through, but look, I'm pretty keen to see this project come to a conclusion.
The department has pretty much given an ultimatum to the artists. Finish one, we'll pay you out, and you keep the other one, or we'll just take it and do with it as we see fit. That doesn't seem to be a really good negotiating tactic to get the best outcome for Tennant Creek, does it?
Oh, look, I'm not sure what previous negotiations there have been. And look,
these are quite recent negotiations, though, Steve Edgington.
Well, look, these negotiations, as I said, have been going on for 8 years, Brash, and I think we've got to look at the full story. Let's put this into context around what's going on. We've inherited another Labor mess here, and it's an absolute disgrace the way it's been handled over the last 8 years. And here we are on the tail end of this particular issue, trying to sort it out. So here we are, 8.5 years later. No doubt there's been negotiations over the last three years with Steve Langton. And I must say, the last time I saw Steve, we did have a look at the Ninka, and Steve's done an incredible job. And I think that's the part that's missing sometimes, is the incredible work that he's done. But I think those negotiations need to come to a standstill at some point, and we need to move on. We need to have the Ninka or Ninkas on display here in Tennant Creek, because they are world-class features that... And I think, just the workmanship that's gone into it. The people that have seen it online, I've put up pictures of it before as well. It is
super impressive.
Super impressive. It's top quality stuff, and hopefully these negotiations can be resolved as we move forward.
Well, would you recommend that Dolly stop the ultimatums? And the artists have told us that for an extra $130,000, and because these are very big projects, and there seem to be some project creep as well, he says for an extra $130,000 and 3 more months, he could finish all the lizards, both lizards. Is that something to aspire to?
Look, as I said, I'm not part of the actual negotiations. I'm not sure exactly how much money is involved to complete the project. I haven't seen those figures, so that's the first time I've heard that figure quoted. But look, what I'd like to see is those negotiations with Steve Langton continue. But looking at what's been published, it seems to me that these negotiations have been going on for a while. And of course, we need to reach some conclusion with this project because, as I said, 8.5 years is a super long time to be working through a project like this.
Would you agree, though, that doing some sort of negotiation which actually leads to both Ninkas being delivered to Tennant Creek, that would be the best outcome?
Well, it certainly would be a very good outcome. At what cost? We need to consider at what cost. I'm not sure exactly how much money has been spent on the project so far. Certainly back in 2016, the Labor government of the day promised $2 million for the entry statements. I'm not sure how much money's left in that budget, how much money's been expended on the Ninkas.
And the lizards are a very small proportion of that, which we do know. You've got Bill Yan in town. He's the Minister for Dolly. Will you ask him what to do? Will you ask him to fix this?
Look, I'll be having a chat with Minister Yan. He did arrive yesterday. I've had a brief chat with him about that, and hopefully, he'll need to speak with his department and find out exactly where the negotiations are up to. But look, I'm keen to see it resolved one way or another. If the second one can't be completed, then we really need to consider how best to use the one that we have here.
Yeah.